Hey, what's up, everybody? So Chikara's first ever internet pay-per-view, High Noon, it finally came, and it was a really good show. I definitely recommend everyone to check it out. It wasn't, an amazing show in my opinion, but it was pretty much as good as I expected it to be. We got to see the first ever Chikara, champion crown, which was a really special moment, and definitely Eddie versus Quack was an awesome match. I would probably say Chikara's match of the year. A lot of it because of the aftermath and the emotion, but yeah. Definitely don't sleep on this show. Might be the only time you get to see Chikara on internet pay-per-view. It seems like they might not be going back to it. This might be a one-and-done type of thing. It seemed like Quack just wanted to kind of test the waters. King of Trios made them a lot of money last year with getting the DVDs out so quickly. So I'm not sure if King of Trios will be on IPPV. I'm not sure, but we'll see what happens. But let's get right into the show. I didn't see Jigsaw versus El Generico on the Ustream. But if you guys did, let me know how it was. Generico's under contract for ROH, so he can't wrestle on another promotion's internet pay-per-views, which kind of sucks. I definitely thought this would have been awesome if it was on the main show. But yeah, so let me know how that was. But let's just get right into the actual show. We had the Young Bucks taking on the Colony, Fire Ant and Soldier Ant, and yeah, this was an awesome opener. Obviously, you get like a PWG versus Jakara dream match. It didn't get as crazy and with the near falls and the hot crowd as it probably could have gotten. I think these two teams could have a great series of matches. So hopefully the Young Bucks stick around and don't sign a kind of contract in Ring of Honor where they can't wrestle on Chikara shows or pay-per-views anymore. So definitely looking forward to see more of them. Like I said, though, never a dull moment. I love the finish. There was a beautiful counter with the more bang for the buck. So yeah, really good stuff. Next up, you had Sara, the greatest female women's wrestler in the United States, definitely, taking on Jakob Hammermeir from the BDK. He's kind of like the Ricardo Rodriguez of Chikara. I don't know, he's got a great character, got a great gimmick. He's kind of, they're finally starting to put him in the ring now. He's in the midst of getting a lot better. That's the thing about Chikara. A lot of these guys, they start out really green, but then they really get a lot better as time goes on, which is pretty cool to see. This is kind of like an extended squash. Really not much to say. Sara with the victory and a pretty sweet finish. The crowd really loved the finish of this match, even though it was a squash. So then we get the Osirian Portal. Omasis comes back from an injury. First time we've seen him in a long time. He was kind of cutting this depressing speech, but then he said, hold up, Osirian Portal is going to give you what you want. So they started dancing. Then Ophidian comes out and it turns on Omasis. We get the highly anticipated Ophidian heel turn. Ophidian's been losing a lot of matches in the 12 Large Summit tournament. He's been very frustrated over the last couple of weeks. So a lot of people did see this coming. I really didn't expect it to happen, but I think it'd be pretty cool to see, Syrian Portal feud. I mean, these guys have pretty much done it all in Chikara, so we'll see what happens from there. Next up, we had Green Ant versus Terces. This is kind of paying tribute to the whole, Lex Luger Yokozuna feud from the WWF, which I really didn't care about when I was a kid. But this is pretty cool. They did the whole Green Ant slamming Tursas at King of Trios, and they've really been doing a beautiful job of building up to this match all year. And it was cool. It was Terces is definitely slimmed down. I would say that in the beginning of the BDK storyline, I thought he kind of brought a lot of those tag matches down. He seemed like he was a little bit more overweight back then and kind of sluggish, but he can move a lot better now. He's definitely a great big man. This is the best I've ever seen him look. And I think Jakara has done a hell of a lot with Green Ant's character. They've really kind of, separated him from the other two guys from the Colony and really branded him nicely. And so he looked great here. They had a really nice, fast-paced match. The finish was kind of awkward. It came off great, but it came off pretty good. But I wouldn't say it was, an ideal type of finish for a blow-off feud. But it's still acceptable. Definitely one of the highlights of the show. Arguably the second or third best match on the show, probably. So after that, after intermission, we had Colt Cabana taking on Archibald Peck. This feud is actually the seeds were planted back at King of Trios, and they finally got Cabana to come back to Jakara. And while I'm on the subject, Ring of Honor, if you definitely told Colt Cabana that funny doesn't make money, that's a bunch of crap. I'll tell you what doesn't make money: having guys in the ROH roster that absolutely have no personality and zero talent. That's what doesn't make money. Colt Cabana could definitely adds a lot of depth, to the ROH roster, in my opinion. So I think that was a big mistake, especially after CM Punk, gave him all that rub on Monday Night Raw. I mean, I just that's just very frustrating to me. But yeah, you kind of have to be in the mood for this kind of match. If you're in the mood, you have a lot of fun during this match. But if you're in like a crappy mood or a grumpy mood, you might not enjoy this. But it was fun though. The crowd really got into it. I was kind of worried about the crowd at first, but as the match progressed, they really did a lot of cool things out there. Archibald Peck is he's just entertaining to just watch out there. Just even if he's just walking, there's something about him. He's just very entertaining. And they did the whole thing with Colt Cabana. I think Victoria, what is her name? Victoria. Or Valerie, I can't even remember, but Archibald Peck's valet, she was kind of distracting the referee, and then Colt Cabana was, he was teasing the fans about choosing a side, so it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to see. It was, the bunny thing is pretty cute. I would say it's just you don't really see it in professional wrestling. A bunny as a mascot. So yeah, after that little bit of a comedy match, we had Gregory Iron, the handicap hero, taking on Icarus. And, Icarus, I would say, like, if you brought your grandmother to a Jakara show, he'd be like the type of guy that your grandmother, like, absolutely hates more than anyone on the roster. So that's Icarus. He just plays, that type of heel. And, Gregory Iron actually defeated Icarus, 2 times in a row. So Icarus is trying to get his win back over Gregory Iron. Tried to do everything he could to put him away. Couldn't put him away. And, Grand Akuma comes out and, shockingly, it looked like it was supposed to be a heel turn. I don't know if this really came off ideal for Jakara, but it seemed to me like I thought like he turned heel at first, but apparently Icarus ducked out of the way and he hit Gregory Iron by accident. So it was cool to see Grand Akuma come out. Obviously, he as some of you guys might remember, he was kicked out of the Fist stable back at Jakarasaurus Rex last year. So it's been a whole year without seeing Grand Akuma back. So we'll see. He finally is going to go after his for his revenge on Fist. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. It's something that they really waited on for a while, which is pretty cool. So after that, we had the BDK of Tim Donst and Aries taking on Spectral Envoy of Hallowicked and Ultramantis Black. A lot was at stake in this match. If you took the pinfall, a lot was at stake. Tim Donst would have to shave his head if he took the pinfall. Aries would have to give up the eye of tear if he took the pinfall. I think if Hallowicked or Ultramantis Black took the pinfall, they have to unmask. So definitely a lot was at stake in this match. One of the biggest matches in Chikara history, I would say. And finally, kind of like the blow off to the whole BDK angle. During the beginning of the match, the crowd really wasn't into it. They were brawling all over the arena. The crowd really woke up when they started to see the hardcore stuff. They did a lot of stuff with chairs. Aries actually took a backdrop off the ring steps onto like a set of 4 chairs. Hallowicked actually did an iconoclasm to Tim Donst through a chair. So yeah, a lot of brutal stuff. Definitely a breath of fresh air. You don't really get to see this match in Chikara a lot. So it was, the fans just seemed totally... I don't want to say surprised, but just like pleasantly, they were just into the match, because you don't really get to see this in Chikara, so it just felt kind of fresh. You got to see a lot of nice breakups, some good near falls, so good drama. It really kept you on the edge of your seat because, like I said, a lot was at stake. The eye of tear was actually returned to Ultramantis Black. Tim Donst actually, went backstage and kind of left Aries laying for dead, which, kind of makes sense if you think about it. I think that's kind of like the only way they could have booked this, looking back in retrospect. Definitely, Tim Donst he's getting a lot better. I'm not the biggest Tim Donst fan, but I think a Tim Donst versus Eddie Kingston feud can make a lot of money for Chikara. That could be like a feud of the year, just from the mic, just from the promos and what they could do outside of the ring. So definitely looking forward to that. So next up, we had the biggest match in Chikara history, the Grand Championship, Eddie Kingston versus Mike Quackenbush. Really, the entrances and the announcers talking about all of Quack's accomplishments and just their facial expressions. Quack had that look of stone before this match. I love Quackenbush. He's definitely like the John Stockton I would say, of Chikara. You know, it doesn't look very flashy, doesn't look very intimidating, but you know, deep down inside, there's a monster underneath there. Very driven individual that could get the job done. And you know, besides Danielson, I would say Quackenbush is, you know, from a technical standpoint, the best wrestler in the United States. But this is Eddie Kingston's night. You know, the fans were definitely on his side. I wanted Quack to win the match. Maybe Quack didn't want to, you know, have the reputation of becoming like the Jeff Jarrett of Chikara, because he is the owner and all that stuff. So maybe that has something to do with that. I really wanted Quack to win, because I am more of a Quackenbush fan. But Eddie Kingston cut that awesome promo, you know, from the heart. Definitely the best Eddie Kingston promo that I've seen since I've been watching Chikara. So, you know, really emotional. The fans really connected with Eddie. I'd say it was about like 80-20 Eddie Kingston. So Quack kind of dictated the tempo, kind of took advantage of Eddie at first. He was really like one step ahead of him, but you know, Eddie fought back and you know, took Quack's knees out. And you know, whenever Quack would do a big move like the Quack driver, you know, Eddie would kick out after just a 1 count. And you know, it just got pretty awesome. And it was I would say just barely Chikara's match of the year. I wouldn't say this was, you know, a must-see blow-away main event, but it really got the job done. Really emotional. The aftermath made it really cool. You know, the Larry Sweeney's friends awarded Eddie Kingston the Grand Championship. You know, Eddie cut this pretty sick promo at the end too. He kind of gave kind of dissed WWE, TNA, Dragon Gate USA, Ring of Honor all at once. And really, you know, this is the first time where you really saw, you know, Eddie take a stand for Chikara, and you really felt like Eddie Kingston, you know, he is Chikara. Like, this is the guy that's gonna, you know, really take Jakara to that next level. And it really came off really good. You kind of felt like this was like definitely a changing of the guard, and really, you know, you really felt like Jakara is definitely going to move up and become, you know, a big player in the business, because of Eddie's promo right there. So definitely good stuff. Definitely a very emotional night. I would definitely recommend checking out the show if you're very frustrated with mainstream wrestling. Definitely check out the indies. There's so much, you know, there's so much to watch. I mean, you know, guys like Spinnernet, Bill and Doug, there's a reason they're not making videos anymore, because they're unhappy, because they only limit themselves to one product, TNA and then WWE. But if you keep an open mind, you know, watch the good stuff from WWE. If TNA puts on a good show, check it out. But you know, Ring of Honor, PWG, Chikara, Dragon Gate USA, you know, promotions from Japan like Noah, All Japan, 01. There's so much out there. It's just keep an open mind. If someone recommends something, just give it a chance. You know, definitely give it a chance. I definitely think you'll be a more happier wrestling fan if you just, you know, watch more of a variety of promotions, because you know, NBA lockout's coming up, and you know, I'm not really that upset about it, because it gives you more time to check up on, you know, all the great promotions that are going on right now. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan, especially with all the indies kind of really competing against each other. So yeah, that's pretty much all I could say. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and definitely check it out. It's definitely worth the money. It was definitely a great show.